Exciting. We're here. So it's Earth Day. What do you do? I want to do sustainability. Here's the top 5 things you can do to live a little bit more sustainably every single day. So the first one is composting. Composting is huge, okay? We keep this on our counter every single day, and basically, you just put your fruit in it, right? Done with the banana, put the banana peel in there. Done with your eggs, put that in there too. The tricky part is that not every single municipality composts the same things. So some municipalities will compost meat and dairy. Ours does, which is amazing. It needs to be an industrial compost facility. Not everyone in the US will have that though. So most of them, you might be able to compost every single food scrap except for maybe meat and dairy bones, right? And eggshells. So just look into that. But overall, composting is amazing. We really need to bring back health to our soil, and you can do that by composting. Also, if you live in California, it is mandatory and it is now a law that you compost. So look into that for your local area. If you live in an apartment complex, that can be a little bit challenging. But you can always look into getting a Lumi, or there's a lot of alternatives. If you have an apartment complex and they don't have a compost bin, that's where you need to start asking them to provide one because they should be doing it legally since it's a law in California. So look into that. So the second thing would be to eat a little bit less meat and dairy. So, I'm from Chicago, born and raised, raised eating a lot of meat and dairy growing up and working in the dairy space, right? Worked at Dannon yogurt for a long time, and also Challenge Butter, right? I learned so much about the agricultural process for dairy. And so I think there's a lot of improvements that we can make to our overall, to the way that we're eating food, right? So think about it takes a lot of land, it takes a lot of resources and water and very energy intensive to raise animal, livestock, and dairy overall, right? So you just want to look at that. If you buy grass fed and you think that that's a great way of helping, and I would say, yeah, that's a really good thing that you're doing. It can just be really challenging because we really can't execute that on a large scale, right? There's just not enough land to actually do, actual every single purchase that you buy is going to be farm raised. So just a couple things to think about, but try to incorporate meatless Mondays, right? So I would just start there. Just try and go without the meat. I would even start just trying to cut out meat slowly if you currently eat both meat and dairy. Typically, dairy is, there's some allergens there. So some people might already have cut that out. But overall, that's a great place to start, is just by taking out some of that meat and seeing how that goes. See how you feel, and then incorporating a couple other days of the week where you're eating a little bit less meat. So, Tempeh Taco Tuesdays. We always do that in our house. It is a favorite and requested by our kids. So, you'd be surprised how when you introduce things to them, what they'll try and what they love. So those are some ways, just take a look, do your own research. Also, you want to make sure that there's a lot of things that we need to work on in terms of industrial agriculture, and it's a big problem, right? We just need to find a different way of eating and consuming our food that's a little bit less damaging to the planet. So the third thing you can do is reduce, reuse, recycle in that specific order. So why is reduce first? Because every single thing that we make or create takes a ton of resources to make, a ton of energy, a ton of water, right? So this watch, right? Tons of energy to make and lots of water. So just think about that every single time you're looking for something brand new. First, can I reduce my consumption of something? Do I have something that'll serve my purpose a little bit better? Reuse, right? Can I get a little creative with some of the things that are in my home and repurpose something? And then also, I love thrifting, right? That's also an option if you can't reuse something and make it into something new. You can always go and thrift. I love thrifting. So do my kids. Third is recycling. And now that's the reason why that's the third on the list, right? Is it should be the third option. There's also so many other things you can do, right? You can reuse your plastic water bottle if you use it. It really means living with less and reducing our need for brand new items. The fourth thing is to decrease our plastic use. So every single time I leave my house, I'm leaving with my reusable bag, right? I'm leaving with my reusable water bottle, my reusable fork, spoons. I have a spork, which is pretty fun. So I always use that. And it's just something that's always, I have multiple with me, right? So I'll keep one in my car, one on my bike, I'll keep one in my backpack, one in my purse at all times, right? So that I know I'm not demanding more in terms of my plastic use. So every single plastic spoon, plastic straw that we use takes a ton of energy and a ton of water to make, right? So if you need to use one every once in a while, don't let yourself get caught up, but try and make it a habit of bringing it with you whenever you can. Fifth, buy local and plant a garden. So instead of going to mass, big grocery stores and buying things, first I would say if you do that, buy more in bulk, right? You're going to have less packaging waste with that. And make sure that you're actually consuming all of the food that you're buying, right? If not, refrigerating it or freezing it. I love to, if we're getting close to lemons expiring, right? We are going to freeze it and just save it. And then that makes it so easy to cook with, right? You can just melt the lemon and in whatever meal you're cooking with. So there's so many ways you can reduce what you're putting into the landfill, right? So overall, buying local, going to a local's farmer's market to purchase all of your fresh produce, right? And veggies. So good. And it's so much more healthy for you, tastes so much better, so much more nutritive, so much more nutrient dense. Then plant a garden. So planting a garden in your backyard is so easy, right? Just start with something small like tomatoes, right? You can do that. Those are something that even I can do. I don't have a great green thumb. I'm trying, but start there. So overall, I think the big wrap up here is that anytime we throw food, clothes, anything like that into the landfill, we are creating a lot of problems for our planet, right? More methane, which is 80 times more potent than CO2. It's really damaging our planet. So, small steps, do one at a time, and you're doing great. Love it. Bye.